Holy, where we are a work in progress. So pray with us, don't play with us. Try Jesus, not me, because we are healing, not healed. Hey guys, welcome to the Judge Me Not podcast. Yes, I'm aware that I am posting on a Sunday. I will be posting every Sunday now. I'm introducing this segment called Hood But Holy. Basically, just a place to hear the word of God and my perspective or interpretation of it from my point of view, um, of someone that's trying to get their life together, someone that is trying to be obedient with the word of God, right? So this is just going to be an introduction of what led me to create this subcategory. First, let's start with John 8 and 7. The people was about to stone the lady who was an adulterer, and Jesus was like, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. And then everybody started walking away, starting with the elders. And the lady was basically like, where's everybody at? And he was like, they've left. Walk away from your sin. I feel like people who are the loudest Christians are the most judgmental and the most rude individuals that I've encountered. Not only have I encountered, but I mean, if you turn on the news, a lot of political campaigns thrive off of Christianity and keeping God in the mix of America when the truth is God is the farthest from what we are doing in America right now. It's just a time of chaos. And that's because we have turned our back on God by being non Christians. I feel like love one another and he was without sin cast the first stone. If all Christians abided by those two policies and the Ten Commandments, we wouldn't really have no issues. Like, I feel like certain Christians just do too much, and that's why so many people walk away from the church. The millennial generation is statistically the highest rate that has walked away from the church. And they practice more spirituality. I practice spirituality and I still technically clarify myself as spiritual, but I do believe in God. I do believe Jesus Christ died for my sins. I understand that I need to be aligned with God's purpose in order for me to be the best version of my highest self. Without the structure of Christianity, I am lost. I know that because I've ran from the church. But everyone that I talk to that has ran away from the church is because they did not feel a part of the church. They felt judged, they felt shunned. How can you congregate with people that are judging you? I'm backwoods Southern Baptist. I mean, we could not wear skirts that if they weren't past our knees, we could not show our shoulders. It wasn't really wearing no pants. It was just old school. So, as certain people got older, now, to be honest, as everybody got older, no one really wanted to follow those rules. God says, come as you are. What someone has on, as long as it's not distasteful, it should not matter as long as they come to get the word of God. And you should not frown your face or turn them away because it's not to your standard. A lot of people have walked away because the church is so judgmental. I was in church, visiting another church, uh, 2 Sundays ago. And there was an individual in there, and they were dressed a little eclectic. He had his hair cut a little different. Um, so you could tell he wasn't a regular pupil at this church. And the looks that he was getting, you could tell wasn't regular. I've been to several churches where I did not worship at all. I did not participate in praise and worship because of fear of being judged. So we get to the praise and worship part, and this man is in his zone. He is tuning in to his relationship with God, and he is expressing his appreciation the way that he seems fit. Baby, a usher came and told him to tune it down. When I tell you I was so disappointed, it was astonishing. But I have been in church myself and had a rude encounter with a church staff, and it's always older church staff, to where I decided I'm gonna go ahead and leave. I'm gonna go ahead and leave because you have already turned my heart from coming in here to receive the word that I know I need, because you are supposed to be a face of the church. You are supposed to be a representation of the church. And if this is what it is to be expected, then I don't belong. Then I don't belong. So it makes it hard. Like now I'm trying to focus on my relationship with God. And I'm fortunate to have found a great church home, but I don't have church family. My church is actually a little too big, and it's so hard to really be a part of it. I've been going to this church for like 5 years, and I couldn't tell you nobody that goes to that church. Like you come, you get the word, and then people leave. And being from a smaller church, I'm used to being able to congregate with my members and be a part of what's going on. I've struggled with being a part of what's going on in the church. Um, So I have a yearning to connect with young people that are battling to not be of the world. Um and to be obedient with the word of God, and to have that support system when you do slip, that you won't be judged, and you can confide in this tribe of individuals that are also trying to walk that same line. I haven't found that. I have actually went to I found some um groups of meetup and Facebook groups, and it's like young Christians or Christian singles, and I went to like 3 of them. And I immediately, I mean, like immediately, of walking into the location, I felt like, okay, I don't belong here. And they looking at me like, oh, you don't belong here. They were looking at me like I was God's biggest sinner. And as we said, it was refreshing to relate over the word of God. But when it came to how do you apply the word of God into your day to day lifestyle, they completely isolated themselves from society and were not living normal, youthful, young adult lives. Um, so again, it still made it hard for me to relate on things such as parenting, dating, um, the work field, um, being a woman of God, and doing things like taking care of your hair or your makeup and things of that nature. And I mean no harm. You don't have to wear weave or makeup, but I'm a type of person that I like to look a certain type of way. I carry myself very well. I don't have to be showing skin to look nice. Um, all of these groups that I went to, no one looked like me. No one put in an effort in their appearance. No one put in an effort in making friends um, in any other aspect in life. They had no social life at all. And I do feel that you can be a child of God and be social and not participate in sin. That's my beliefs. You can drink wine. We know Jesus turned water into wine. It said don't get drunk. You can date, but don't be out there just fornicating, dating every time Dick and Harry the wrong way. You're supposed to date with intentions, with somebody who has the same beliefs as you do so you can be equally yoked. So I said, let me make this um, segment, and then maybe I will attract like minded people and it might start something. Another reason why I started this because one of these older adults, um, I went back home and I ran into him and they was like, I'm really surprised at how well you articulate your words and you give really, really good encouragement. But one day you're talking about encouragement without the word of God, and then maybe you will talk about the word of God, and then maybe you make a joke or you say a cuss word in another one of yours. I'm a work in progress, baby. I ain't gonna never lie and act like I'm holy and roly because I know the Lord got a lot of work on me. So I'm working on my mouth. I understand that. I'm working on that with my own relationship with God and on my own time. But that goes back to John 8 and 7. Ma'am, you have already discouraged me. If I was trying to get my life right, you making it seem like I'm not doing enough at the pace that I need to be. It's just like, how can you be a Christian and an elder and discourage the younger generation? I am just baffled. I'm not saying all older Christian people are like that, but majority of them are. At least the majority that I've run across and the majority of people that I know have run across. They're very judgmental, very disencouraging, and it's hurtful because in my belief, baby, Jesus prefers to be around sinners. If you read all through the New Testament, Jesus was a G. Jesus came back and disrupted those who were following the Old Testament, called out the elders that were practicing the old ways for them not being aligned with God. Remember when he went into the temple and threw over the table because they was doing stuff they ain't had no business doing in that? That's some player stuff. I mean, think about it. You had to be out of your mind in a mess and just the opposite of the ideal candidate in order for Jesus to come around and use you. He used a murderer, prostitute, uh, 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 a cheater, uh, old folk. Moses was old. Yeah, and most of his major miracles and stories were involved in him being around a group of people that were as far away from being a saint as possible because those are the ones who not only need the word the most. If you are already at rock bottom and somebody is coming and trying to give you a life jacket, you ain't got nowhere else to go. You're going to accept it. Now, if you go to somebody who already doing good on their own, they might shun their ear to what you're trying to say. You see what I'm saying? And then it makes the testimony that bigger, that more amazing, and travels that fast. So I feel like Jesus purposely chose and still chooses people that are in the mix of sin to spread the gospel to other people who are in midst of their own sin so it can spread fast and the testimony be amazing. Amazing. When you ever hear somebody testimony, I've heard a lot of people testimonies and some of them are just like, okay, but you come from a two-parent home. You were able to go to college. Like you had no real life worries. Not saying, God didn't touch you, but I can't relate to that. But then when you hear a testimony from someone that has went through something traumatic, something major. I mean, they were in the pit of mess. Yet they were able to restore their life, restore their spirit, and make a 360 change. That touches you in the midst of your mess and be like, bro, I can do it. If God worked on them, they can work on me. And I often battle with myself and my worthiness for all things good through God's mercy. Because of that old Baptist in me. Like I just always second guess myself, thinking back on my sins, thinking back on, a lot of stuff. And if I do fall short of his grace, I'm so hard on myself. And I'm trying to really get out of that because if Jesus forgives me, then I have to get in the habit of forgiving myself and letting that go and just get back to putting him in the forefront. So, yeah, every Sunday, but y'all know I'm wishy washy. So, but I'm gonna try to do every Sunday. Meet me here at Hood but Holy. We gonna go over a Bible passage, or maybe it might be one of my daily motivationals that I read. It might be a um pastor preaching that I read. Whatever touches my heart that I'm going to share. Maybe you are at a point in your life that you are thinking about building your connection with God, or you have a great connection with God, but you don't fellowship with anybody, and you look into fellowship with like minded people, or you don't know how to start your relationship with God because you feel like you are just too much of a mess. Like it's just not, you don't even know where to start. Meet me here, baby, because I'm a mess too, but I'm trying. So let's start. Read John 8 and 7. Reflect over John 8 and 7. See y'all next time.